What about past lives and demons and spirits and so on? What about being able to talk to our dead, or our loved ones that have gone beyond? Or what about all the Ouija board stuff? How does that all work, and how does that relate to completely disintegrating as a being and going back into the whole? And my experience with that, is pretty simple, as is all this, is that we can tap into people that have passed on. We can tap into other spirits, or our guides, if you will, or any of that. We can tap into that information and knowledge just simply by connecting to all that is. And so when I had my first experience, it was probably the most vivid. Everything since then has been just tapping into that understanding, but it was really obvious in that experience that I could tap into, say, my friend Josh that I was looking at. I could tap into him. I could see and feel him beyond his body completely. And then taking that a step further, let's say that someone had passed on. Well, they're still integrated in all that is. You can feel, for example, you ever touch something that someone else that you love or otherwise has touched or dealt with, something that they used on a daily basis, and they're gone, and you can feel them in that object or whatever? That's that energy. That's that trace behind, that intelligence connected to that item. And the intelligence flows through everything and all things. It's like, you ever feel your loved ones are still present with you, even if they're not necessarily dead, but they might be somewhere else, and you can feel them? That's because you feel their energy and their presence in all that is. We leave trails behind us of our energy, of our intelligence, but it's not defined or held tightly to one being or one presence or one corporal body or one spiritual body, but it's just connected to all it is. So just imagine this, we're just put back into the flow of all things. Our body and our spirit completely disintegrating. Our body, of course, disintegrating as we can imagine, rotting and turning back into the earth. But then our spirit blends into all that is as well. So that's why we are so connected to all things that are, because we already are connected to them. Even if they're here and present and alive or not, you see a tree die and pass away, or a body or person, an animal passes away, you can see their body laying there, but you can feel their presence. That's because they are still here, still all around us. What has happened is we can experience them. We can tune into them because we know them. We tune into them from that experience. So that experience that we had with them helps us to know them, so we can identify them and their spirit and their signature in all that is, just as a part of it. We can draw that out and experience it again. So as far as past lives, I believe we exist on many levels. From my experience, we can live and exist anywhere. What I've found is that I get really deep, familiar feelings with the ideas of having lived on or living concurrently on different planes in different locations simultaneously. I get the feeling that I've lived before, but it's not like I have lived before. It's just that this intelligence that I am, that is part of all that is, it lives all the time, everywhere, experiences all things all the time. And as we become more in tune with that, we can start to travel and see these other things. People have outer body experiences. I think that that's part of that as well. Is not necessarily their body is going somewhere else, because we try to identify and say, oh, that was my body. My spirit body went here and did this, and we keep trying to hold tight to this. This is me, and I did this, and I had this experience, and and it's like, it's much more like I don't exist as an I necessarily. I just exist as part of it, all that is. All that is. An undefined part of everything that is. So you can imagine, if you look at like a speck of dirt in the forest and you say, wow, this speck of dirt was a tree, and now it's some dirt. Pretty soon it'll grow into another tree. Its nutrients. It's part of all that is. It's beautiful. Anyway, so those are my thoughts, and here we go.